Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and this is episode 22 of Sarah's Creative Corner. This is just my little corner of the internet where I chat about all the creative things that I have been up to over the past week or so. I will normally talk about knitting and spinning. I'll probably talk about some sewing here in a little bit, maybe not today, but maybe by the end of the summer. But yeah, that is kind of what I do here. And just so you know, my links are down below for Ravelry and Instagram, as well as all of the pages or all the projects that I talk about, all the pages, the project pages, as well as the dyers that I use, not necessarily the colorway, but just like their website. So yeah, I have some whips, I have some finished objects to talk about, and I don't have any acquisitions this time around, but I know I will have some next week because I got some delivery notifications. So yeah, I am filming a little bit earlier in the week this week. So the last episode I filmed on Monday and it is Friday now, so I don't have as much time in between filming this time. So yeah, not as much knitting, but there's a variety of things this time around. But I guess we can go ahead and hop into the finished objects. I have one sock that I finished, as well as like a completed skein that I showed you last week, but it is fully finished now. So I guess we can go ahead and dive into the first one. That is these socks. Let me see. This is the one that I was working on last week. So I had about halfway of the foot to go and the toe. And I finished this morning. And this is just vanilla sock. And I used magic loop, or not magic loop. I used 9-inch circulars on 1.5, US 1.5, 2.5 millimeters. And I did 20 rounds for the cuff in 2x2 ribbing. I did 60 rounds for the leg and then 85 rounds for the foot. It seems like my tension in my sock knitting has become a little bit more consistent. I checked the other pair of socks that I made for my husband and they were like 83 or 84 rounds for the foot, so it might just depend on the fiber composition, but it looks like around 80-ish is his foot size, so that's good to know. But yeah, this is a pair for him, and the colors are, so the bear is just Knit Picks Hawthorn in their bear colorway, and then the main color is Spun Right Round on their Tough Sock base in Lovey Dovey. So that is the first one, and then here's the second one. So that's these guys. I'd say that it looks pretty good. I don't see any like color pooling or anything like that. They're pretty evenly dyed, which I am happy with, and I'll show you the other side too. So yeah, that is the first finished object, and that's it. That's pretty crazy. Nothing too crazy. And I measured how much yarn I had left, and I had 54 grams left in the skein, which is crazy. I would not have anticipated that. But here we are. And I'll probably cast on my pair of socks here in a little bit, and I'll probably do also contrast heel toes and cuffs for that one. And I'm thinking about doing like a ruffle, and I looked up, I have Summer Lee Knits like shorty pattern set and look to see how she does the ruffle. So I'll just kind of go off of that, but just do the numbers that I normally do, but kind of use hers as guidance. So that is the knitting finished object, and the other one is my spin. So I just wanted to show you the finished skein. So this is the fiber from Little Fiber Co. in her Citrus Skies colorway. And I'd say that's pretty even. Yeah, pretty exciting. Nothing too much to say about that since I showed it to you last week. So I have 3 whips I can talk about, and I guess we can, no, 4 whips. Let's talk about what you have seen to what you haven't seen. So the first thing is something that you haven't seen in a hot second, and that is this guy. This is the Lento by Jonna Helin. I always forget her name. And it is just a raglan, top-down raglan sweater. I'm knitting it in Explore Knits and Fibers in their sock and Suri base in To the Stars Who Listen. So last week I finally bound off the first sleeve, so that's the first thing. Is that is completely done now, and I have started the second sleeve. I haven't done a lot, maybe like 10 rows or so, and I got a new cable. It's the Twist 360 cables from Xiaogu, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell. So the needle is spinning, but not the actual cord. I wanted to test it out, especially for the larger needle size. But that's this one. I'm knitting size 3 and just using the called for needle, which is a size US 10. So I'm slowly chugging along. I finally just got over Sleeve Island and have started the second sleeve. So this one probably won't be worked on too actively, but enough that I will probably get this done by the end of the summer, or at least beginning of fall. So that is the first one. Okay, and the next one is this guy. This is my Pressed Flowers, and this is by Amy Christoffers or Savory Knitting. And yeah, I didn't get too much of this one done, but I think I figured out how to be a little bit more productive because it's a little bit harder to scooch the needles. And I remember seeing a tip somewhere to put one of these cable locks on there. So then what you do is like you squish all your stitches down and then they're kind of bunched up. So I found that that has helped and it's made it go by a little bit faster. And yeah, I'm almost done with the second repeat of this. So if I can get even like 3/4 of a repeat done every week, I'd say that's pretty good progress. And each row I think is getting bigger at this point. So it might change. My progress speed might change here coming up. But that is this guy. I am knitting it in Miss Babbs Yowza, which is her DK base. And the pink is Zinfandel. And the speckled cream is Hitchhiker's Birthday. So that is this guy. I'm pretty happy with it. And it's just a one-size shawl. I might extend it just a little bit depending on how big it is, but I'll also probably steam block it too before I get to the border, because at least right now this is how deep it is, and this is only about half of it, so maybe I'll just go with whatever's in the pattern. And I also don't have all the yarn. I only have mean, I guess 235 grams, but I think it calls for around 220 or so grams. So I might be playing yarn chicken towards the end, so I might not extend it a little bit, but it should block out a little bit since it's mosaic. But yeah, that is this guy, and I am very happy with it, and I'm looking forward to continuing to chug along and get into the third repeat of this pattern. All right, so those are the things that you have seen, and I have two things that you have not seen before. So I guess we'll do weather appropriate to the exciting thing at the end. So the weather appropriate one is, this is on really tiny cables, so you probably won't be able to tell, but I have a little t-shirt. It's so small. This is the Uptown tee by Tori Knits NYC. There we go. This is knit up in Life in the Long Grass on their silk merino base in Garden Party. So if you remember a while ago, I did the Uptown pullover. This is just the t-shirt version, and it has a lace sleeve, and it's just stockinette everywhere else. It'll probably be easier once I split for sleeves to show what I'm doing, but I'm just continuing on with the raglan increases. I have finished all the short rows, so which you can kind of see here, since the front is a little bit shorter than the back. Yeah, I'm knitting size 4, I think, and I already have this in the same exact colorway, but there's yet another stain on it. So I was blessed to find a skein of this on sale in the same colorway that I did the last one in, so I decided to grab it, and what I'll do is I'll just remake the thing, and hopefully it won't get stained this time around. And even though it sucks that it got stained, I think it's a blessing in disguise because the I-cord left off on my sleeve was a little tight, so it gives me an opportunity to redo that. I am also going up a needle size. I think this calls for a 2 and a 4, but I'm doing a 3 and a 5 for this, which is the complete opposite of what I did last time, where it called for 3 and a 5, but I did a 2 and a 4. Just how things work. And that's the same needle that I used for the last one too, I think. So my gauge has stayed pretty similar, I would say. But yeah, that is this guy. Hopefully next time it'll be a little bit easier to see. So that is the second to last one. The last one is, it's also not much, and you probably won't be able to tell what it is unless you remember the yarn that I showed last week. But I have the start of a sweater. Let's see if it'll focus. All right, there we go. I have the start of my framed sweater, which I talked about last week. This is the Rhinebeck sweater from Andrea Mowry this year, and this will be my first Andrea Mowry Rhinebeck sweater make, and it is a bottom-up sweater with color work on the body and the sleeves. So I have just started, and one modification that I am doing is I'm going to do half twisted rib, which, let me show you the front. You might be able to see, yeah, I think you can see that. And that's because my knit columns are normally pretty wide and splayed out, so I'll just do a half twisted, half twisted rib for the ribbing on this, and it really shouldn't make too much of a difference. And I'm also going down in needle size, so she calls for a 5 and a 7, so I'm going to do a 4 and a 6. But yeah, hopefully next time around for this one you will see at least a finished hem and maybe the beginning of some color work. But as you can tell, I have a whole bunch of needles, a whole bunch of projects on the needles, and not that much time, I guess. But that's just kind of where things are. And that's really all the things that I've been working on. Just a bunch of little things here and there. I think it's been nice to kind of be able to hop around and try out different things and just kind of see where my creativity takes me. But yeah, excited to be working on this one, and that's it. That is all the things that I have for you, and I will see you guys next week. I'm just like looking around to see if there's anything, but there's not. There's nothing else. I will see you guys next week with some acquisitions and probably another cast-on because I got into a test. So all the things, and probably another pair of socks that I've cast on. So we'll see how it goes. And hopefully I don't get overwhelmed. But yeah, that is all the things, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.